this time on a smashing Thursday morning with some news about the hood, the ghetto, because the ghetto is not poor. I was having this conversation with a young man last night. He was complaining about how the ghetto is poor. And I had to explain to him that the ghetto is not poor. If the ghetto was poor, why do you have the Arab store in the ghetto? If the ghetto is poor, why do you have the Asians in the ghetto with their nail shops, with their beauty supply stores? Are they saying that you're ugly, saying that you need to be beautified? I'm just saying, right? The ghetto is not poor. Look at all of those drug dealers in the neighborhood that people in the ghetto support. And look how they live. Look at the bankrolls in their pocket. Look at the fly cars that they whip up and down through the blocks. Look how they travel. Look at the clothes they wear. Look at the jewelry they wear. If the ghetto is poor, sad. What poor is happening in the ghetto is the people. The people in the ghetto is poor-minded. If you were poor, you wouldn't be able to pay your rent. If you were poor, you would not be able to pay that car note that's almost more than your rent. I'm just saying. Hey, you have people that live in the hood, that live in apartments, and their car costs more than what it costs for them to stay in their apartment for a whole year. I'm just saying. Think about that. But the ghetto is poor. If the ghetto is poor, how can you afford all these cell phones? How can you afford all of these PS5s, PS4s? How can you afford them Jordans if the ghetto is poor? In fact about it, if it wasn't for the ghetto or the people that's in the ghetto, the blue-collar workers, what would the white-collar workers be doing? Nothing. I'm just saying. Think about that. And I'm going to tell you this here, right? If the ghetto is so poor, why is it that we have an estimated number of $1.8 trillion that will go through the hands of black people in the ghetto of America? That is a third world country's economic money bag. And what do? We take it to the people who own the stores in the hood, in the ghetto, in the neighborhood, the Chinese. Who else? Yeah, some Mexican. And some are what? The Arabs. Okay? You even have the Greeks and some Italians with the liquor stores. But the ghetto is poor, yet they get rich off of your money. And sadly, we don't even own a store. We can't get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people to go in on a store so that we could be self-sufficient. Can you go to that Arab and say, man, can I get some credit? Can you go to that Mexican and say, can I get some credit? Because I'm hungry today and I ain't got nothing to eat. Who would better understand that than you? But you send their children to college, but the ghetto is poor. I'm just saying. And speaking of the ghetto, did you hear what Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, said? He said that they are processing like 10,000 immigrants a month. That means you got thirsty people on top of thirsty people on top of thirsty people, which means more crime. And he said that they are cutting programs all across the board. And when most of the immigrants get here, Where do they send them to? To the ghetto. But the ghetto is poor. I think you need to rethink your thinking. Yeah, rethink your thought process. What's poor in the ghetto is the poor decisions that the people who live in the ghetto make. You dig? That's just keeping it a buck. You can take it or leave it. Hell, the ghetto helped make Michael Jordan a billionaire. I'm going to say that again. Whew. So, if the ghetto helped make Michael Jordan a billionaire, what did they do for Nike? Huh? What did the ghetto do for Nike? What did the ghetto do for Adidas? What did the ghetto do for whatever name brand clothing you have? I'm just saying. And all of those fancy fly jackets that we wear in Chicago. Huh? I'm just saying. Eric Adams says that this immigrant thing is going to wipe out New York City. And Biden said if this shutdown occurs by October 1st, who's going to suffer the worst? The black people. The ghetto. You know why? You're giving it all away. You're giving it all away. All of your riches that you have, you're giving them away to someone who don't provide anything for you or where you live at. However, you can go to another community. You can go to another community, and those people in that community help take care of that community. And yes, they own businesses in that community, but you can't go in their community and open shop. Even if you do, there's a great chance that you won't last long. But look how long they last where you live at in the ghetto. The ghetto is not poor. The mindset of the people in the ghetto is what's poor. Leave your comments in the comment section. It's your brother, the THEMOSHOWCHICAGO, where knowledge is power. It is your third eye that makes you shine like jewelry. And if you haven't done so already, press that subscribe button below. Hit the notification bell. And also those condiments, the like and the share. Share the information with relatives, friends, co-workers, anyone that you come into contact with. It is a magnificent way to jumpstart your conversation on how to have a super conversation about how the ghetto is not poor. Also, if you haven't checked out my other channel, the MOPOWERZ, say that again, MOPOWERZ here on YouTube, I will be having a series of From Babylon to Timbuktu. We are having part 3 up by tomorrow. By tomorrow, by 3 p.m., part 3 and part 4 will be up on YOUTUBE on MOPOWERZ. Never ever give up on your dreams, and remember that black on black crime is a felony.